Have you ever searched the words shapeshifters or lizard people on your browser?
We got one. Mark, are the allegations true that you're secretly a lizard? I'm gonna have to go with no on that. I am not.
Yeah, you've probably seen clips like this with wild VFX chaos pretending to be evidence of shapeshifters. Yes, you are right. Most of them are fake. But I kept wondering, where did these stories actually come from? Is there even a grain of truth in any of it? So I started digging, not just through modern YouTube theories, but deep into old myths, ancient records, and places most people have never even heard of. And I found something that shows not all legends are myths, something that questions my understanding of mythology. Because not all legends are just stories. Some of them are real with compelling proof. To understand it, we have to travel back, centuries ago, to a remote corner of northeast Thailand. Back then, this dry stretch of land was known as Rattapa, a kingdom ruled by King Lue. He had recently suffered a terrible loss. His only son had been killed in battle. The future of the kingdom now rested on his grandson, Phahum. Phahum grew up to be everything the people hoped for. Kind, brave, wise, and yes, undeniably handsome. A handsome man. Many believed he would one day lead Rattapa into a new era. One afternoon, after returning from a hunting trip, Phahum sees a beautiful woman called Naka Cave. He was mesmerized by her beauty and fell in love with her. But when he approached her to confess his feelings, she stepped back and told him the truth. She said she wasn't human. She was a Naga, a mythical serpent being, and the true form he was seeing was only a disguise. Anyone else would have run, but Phahum didn't move. Even after hearing the truth, Phahum didn't step back. He asked her to marry him. And Naka Cave, seeing his sincerity and knowing he was one of the kindest and handsome men in the kingdom, found it impossible to refuse. But there was a problem. Phahum knew that King Lue would never accept their marriage if he learned she was a Naga. So he made her promise, never reveal her true identity to anyone, no matter what. For a while they lived in peace, but 3 years passed and they still had no child. Over time, Naka Cave's health began to weaken, and one day, in a moment of exhaustion, she lost control and accidentally transformed back into her true serpent form. A servant saw everything, and within hours the rumor reached King Lue. His reaction was furious. He ordered Naka Cave to leave the kingdom by nightfall. When the Naga king, her father, learned what had happened, when he heard how his daughter had been treated, his heartbreak turned into rage. In that fury, he unleashed his power on Rattapa, destroying the once beautiful city in a single wave of devastation. As for King Lue, legend says he was cursed, transformed into a giant petrified serpent, left behind as a permanent reminder of his actions. And here's where it gets interesting. Deep inside Naka Cave in modern-day Thailand, there are rock formations unlike anything else. Massive coils, scale-like patterns on stone, and a structure that looks uncannily like the body of a petrified serpent. Official reports, of course, say it's all a 100,000-year-old natural rock formation. But when you look closely at the curves, the ridges, it's hard to believe it was caused by natural erosion. The symmetrical patterns look like a huge snake. Even today, hundreds of local villagers still climb these steep paths to offer prayers and gifts to the giant serpent. People believe it's King Lue himself, petrified and still watching over the land he once ruled. These beliefs don't just stop at Naka Cave in Thailand, they echo across the world. In India, China, and even ancient Egyptian civilization, entire cultures believed in serpent beings, creatures that could shift forms, walk among humans, and hold power beyond our understanding. And here's the fascinating part. When you look at ancient gods and deities across different cultures, you start noticing a pattern. Snakes, everywhere, coiled around their arms, resting at their feet, crowned on their heads, or even fused into their bodies. In many parts of Asia, rituals dedicated to snakes are still practiced today. offerings, including food and flowers, at serpent shrines honoring what communities believe is a sacred place for the ancient realm of serpent beings. It makes you wonder, were they just symbols of power? Or were these civilizations trying to tell us something they saw, something they believed was real? All this evidence is fascinating, but it leads to the real question. Is the formation inside Naka Cave truly a petrified snake? Let's break this down. Petrification sounds like a fantasy, but it is a real scientific process. In simple terms, it's what happens when a living organism is slowly replaced by minerals, turning it into stone. It's extremely rare, and even when it does happen, it usually happens to tiny pieces of wood, plants, or small creatures, not massive animals. But here's the part most people don't realize. For petrification to happen, the organism has to be buried in an oxygen-poor and anoxic environment for a very long time. No oxygen means no decomposition. That's the only way a body can survive long enough to fossilize. And based on everything we know from scientific records, 100,000 years ago, Earth's oxygen levels were not drastically different from today. An anoxic environment like that wouldn't exist on open ground, certainly not on the surface. And the serpent-like formation in Naka Cave? It's massive, far too large for any known form of petrification to turn a real creature into stone. So scientifically, the idea of a real snake turning into rock simply doesn't make sense. But what about the formation itself? The scales, the ridges, the sweeping curves, even the shape of a head. Geologists say those can all be explained by natural erosion over thousands of years. And maybe they're right. 100,000 years is a long time, and nature can sculpt things we struggle to believe. Yet here's where the mystery refuses to die. Why do so many ancient cultures place gods and serpents side by side? Why do so many cultures across the world still offer prayers to serpent beings? And why are some areas of Naka Cave permanently restricted and barely documented? Is it truly just for visitor safety? Or is it because not everything buried within these caves is meant for the public to see? What if serpent beings or shapeshifters ever walk this earth, capable of hiding their form, living in ways far beyond our biology? Then is it really impossible for them to break the scientific rules we rely on today? Honestly, that's for you to decide. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this content, please like, share, and subscribe. See you next time. Until then, stay safe and stay curious.